Welcome to the Oasis State podcast. Cheers for tuning in. This podcast is dedicated to educating and empowering women to step into their self-love infused power. As a woman, there are so many nuances that influence our relationship with self. Join me as I share my personal experiences with and deep understanding of mindset development, energetics, and self-mastery. I will help you deconstruct societal conditioning and your own outdated beliefs through a lighthearted, playful lens of perception. I will introduce you to tools that will help you redefine your interaction with life, powerfully manifest your wildest dreams, and enjoy every step along the way. Let this podcast guide and support you as you make the commitment to remember your magic within. This is your self-empowerment pep talk. Aloha and welcome back to the Oasis State podcast. My name is Zoe Rose Carey and I'm your host. Wherever you are and whenever it is that you're listening to this podcast episode, I hope you are having a beautiful day. Your heart is calm, your mind is organized, and your body is happy and healthy. Awesome. Well, before we start this episode, I just want you to take a deep breath. Extra points for audible exhale. And just allow yourself to drop into your body. Give yourself permission, or I hope you can give my voice and myself consent to just receive today's information. And I just think it's really important to take that moment to acknowledge this energy and information exchange, and consent is just really, really delicious, and it helps our mind, body and soul align and focus. And it is my intention and my hope that these words and me speaking my truth is what kind of serves as like an activation process for you. So I think the consent is really important because you may feel activated, you may have aha moments as I speak, and this stuff can be really, really powerful if you are open to receiving. So take a deep breath and let's get into it. Actually, firstly, you might hear a bit of a pitter-patter in the background. I am currently sitting in the car looking at the ocean and it's raining. So it's raining today, and I just really wanted to be by the ocean because it is my church. It's my home and my sense of clarity and safety and purpose and empowerment and everything. So I'm kind of compromising with the environment today. I'm looking at the ocean, but I'm in the car, and you might be able to hear the rain pitter-pattering on the roof. So I'm really excited to be recording this episode today. I've had a bit on .com, definitely going through a bit of a process at the moment. And I think after I record this one, I might just record another episode, a kind of a freestyle flowing one, and get you guys up to date with where I'm at, because there's just so many juicy lessons and shifts and upgrades that I'm experiencing right now. But if I didn't already have so many years of experience with this process of actively creating my reality and upgrading my life, I feel as though I would be missing a lot of these lessons and upgrades, because it's not just like, I want this cool, amazing new life. Thanks. And like, you just get it. Like, it's like a lot of evolution. There's a lot of like inner work. And it's really fun. I'm not trying to say like, it's hard, like sort of thing. It's a really fun process, but I am acknowledging that because I've been actively doing this for like over a decade now, this particular cycle and upgrade that I'm going through, I'm like, oh my God, it's so juicy with lessons. And I'm so zoomed out right now, and I can see exactly where I've done things in the past from a particular level of understanding and awareness and self-awareness and self-love and empowerment. And I'm like, that's how I got those results and that same kind of cycle. But now I've been doing a lot of work on my subconscious lately, and that's one facet of self-mastery and empowerment, is understanding our subconscious minds And I've been doing a lot of work lately to shift my beliefs, which is where our subconscious minds live. And basically our beliefs run like 98% of our lives. And this stuff should be taught in primary school, in my opinion. But it is work that I do in my group programs and my one-on-ones. And sorry, I'm so passionate. I'm just going on a little tangent right now, but I'm just acknowledging that I've been doing a lot of work on my subconscious beliefs lately, and things in my external reality are shifting as a result of that, which is really exciting. But it does involve a lot of self-awareness. It involves a lot of faith. It involves a lot of nervous system regulation, because you're literally upgrading and changing your inner state and then your outer state. And instantly our body kind of reacts to the unknown and change. And if we don't know how to regulate our nervous system, we're probably just going to flip back into the known pattern. So I'm going way deeper than I wanted to in this podcast episode. But basically I'm navigating a leap of faith right now, and some amazing upgrades in my life. But it comes with a lot of discipline. Like discipline in like an exciting, fun way though, not like kind of like a self-loathing rejection discipline. It's like, oh, okay, I need to be consistent, I need to be patient, I need to trust. And basically, I just want to jump on the next. I've spoken about this for long enough, so obviously I need to record a podcast episode about it. So I will, after this today, record another podcast episode, just a free-flowing one, to share the lessons that I'm observing in this current cycle, because I'm so aware that if past versions of me probably had these same lessons but completely didn't even identify them, because I was just not ready to, because we're constantly evolving. So, and I'm not saying like the next cycle I go through for an upgrade, I will be completely, totally self-aware, but it's kind of like when you've done consistent work on one area for a while, it gets to this point where it's so natural and innate and it flows. So I've spoken about this for 75 years. So I think, like I said, I will record a podcast episode on it after this. And I hope that any observations that I've made in my process can help you guys understand the leap of faith portion of actively creating your reality, which is, I suppose, could be called manifestation as well. But it's basically just, self-mastery. I am sitting in my car, and you might hear little bits of rain, but I just wanted to press play on these episodes because, as I mentioned, I've had a few really exciting process going on at the moment with an upgrade in my life, but it takes a lot of your attention. So, but I just woke up this morning and I was like, oh my God, if I don't press record and start recording a podcast episode today, I'm going to fucking explode. I just feel like I've got so much to say, and I really love... because I have been so active and consistent with my self-mastery journey for so long, I've been able to identify that speaking my truth is therapeutic for me. It gives me a sense of purpose. It helps me self-soothe. It helps me... I feel passionate. I might have said that, but I'm just kind of rolling along on my tongue right now. So I'm not saying everyone gets this kind of excitement and joy from speaking their truth, but it's really cool, a nice little gem that my self-mastery journey has given me to identify, I need to speak my truth and have that clear channel through my throat chakra. For anyone that's familiar with our chakras, that just to have that really strong throat chakra. But that's not for everyone, because everyone is unique. But I just woke up this morning and I was like, I'm going to freak out if I don't press record soon. So here we are. And I just actually kind of almost want to record the Leap of Faith episode, because that's what I'm currently experiencing. But this episode, I will record it after. I will stick to my plan. This episode is about rest, guys. Rest. And I'm going to share my personal experience and how we all need to redevelop a healthy relationship with rest. And goddamn, society's got it backwards, guys. Like, holy shit. This is a really, really, really personal episode for me, because it has just been such a process of deconditioning from a really toxic unhealthy relationship with productivity, with worthiness, and with allowing and giving myself permission to rest. And yeah, so I think it might spark a bit of, a few shifts for other people. And that's why I came back to the consent piece. Just so give yourself permission for your mind, body and soul to receive this, because it is powerful stuff and it's not common information that society is just giving, is kind of promoting at the moment. Like majority of society, there is this beautiful spiritual and personal development and holistic community out there that is really plugging these messages, and it's really important. So yeah, let's get started. So rest, it's important. Basically, we're not robots and we're human beings, and especially as women, which I feel that my common audience is women, or the majority of my audience is women, or if not, please let me know if there's men, or everyone else out there that's listening. Let me know, because I was kind of I'm going on another tangent, but I was definitely I'm very passionate about women's empowerment, but it feels like I kind of am in a bit of an umbrella for empowerment as well, like an umbrella niche, which is like opposing things. But yeah, so there might be other people out there that are resonating with this, and I'm really stoked about that. So yeah, but for women especially, we are cyclical beings. We literally run on a lunar cycle, which takes, don't quote me on this, but 27 days, usually 28 days of a cycle, and our hormones and our body and everything run through this cycle. So rest is a part of that. Like nature is our biggest example of the need to honor cycles, because we have seasons. We have 4 seasons: summer, autumn, winter, spring. Yeah, I was like, is that all of them? Did I say all of them? Whereas we are living in a very toxic society right now, where it's work and hustle, and it's I just can't handle it. And I think I was talking about it in my last podcast episode, but I'm doing a lot of work at the moment, and actually I'll probably mention it in the next podcast episode, because that has kind of been my leap of faith when I've been reconditioning my beliefs. But I don't want to take those toxic productivity beliefs into my business. Like, I'm finally in the driver's seat of my purpose and my career, and how I attract money and how I give and be of service to others. But it's really shined a light on me how heavy and unhealthy the conditioning around rest and productivity was for me. So yeah, this episode is quite a personal one for me. But because I think it's personal for me, because I've done a lot of work, and I feel like there's such a huge majority of people out there that need to do this work as well. So yeah, basically, guys, from birth, from a young age, we have been exposed to long periods of stress and competition and scarcity and toxic productivity. And it's basically triggered our nervous systems to flick into fight or flight, which fight or flight mode is only meant to be used in short bursts. And our cortisol rises, and, and particular organs slow down and blood supply changes, because our mind and our nervous system has perceived an external threat, and we're getting ready to fly, so the flight part, or fight. Whereas nowadays, with the horrible expectations that society has put on us around doing, and linking our sense of purpose with how much we can do, on top of an overstimulating society. So like lights and sounds and social media and all of that is overstimulated. That flicks us into fight or flight mode too. So basically, from birth, we have been exposed to long periods of stress and scarcity and hustle culture, and it's just not the way to go. But it's not, I'm not sitting here like, oh my God, fuck society. It's like, okay, cool. Once you realize this, you need to take responsibility for your nervous system and for your conditioning towards rest and change it. So I'm not here saying fuck the system. Well, I kind of am, but I'm like, fuck the system, and let's focus on the important thing, which is our work. it's always our work. And by you doing the inner work to recondition your relationship with rest and your worthiness around stillness and just being rather than doing, you're activating your community and the collective and people around you to slip into the same. So yeah, that's where this empowerment piece is coming from today, guys, is we can't just sit back and be like, oh my God, society. It's like, okay, cool. We've acknowledged that things are not great in that department, but we need to come back to the inner work piece and shift our beliefs around rest, because yeah, it's the way it's going is not great. So just taking a breath. Yeah, sorry, I hope I don't talk too fast, guys. I just get so passionate about this, but just trying to take deep breaths so your nervous system and my nervous system and our bodies can kind of accept this transmission. So yeah, basically the societal pressures have come from so early on. If you think about it, like we start sport really early on, and it's this expectation like, you know, do really well or kick that goal or get that gold medal at the gymnastics competition. We rush to school every day, like 7:30 on the bus, guys. Where's your lunch? Your mum's screaming at you from the car. Get in, let's go. And then we're put into schools and, like I mentioned, sports and all these different arenas from like such a young age, and pressured to compete and achieve and perform. And there's nothing wrong with being ambitious and achieving and wanting accomplishment as a child. I am just pointing out that there's been a gross imbalance with that in my personal experience as a child. And I'm not having a go at my schooling system or my mum or anything. Mama Kaz, if you're listening, I love ya. But there's a lack of education around the balance that is required for achievement and performance to be sustainable. So yeah, I'm not saying like just go and live in a hammock and read a book for the rest of your life. If you want to do that, sick, cool, do that. But I'm just trying to point out that there's been from my personal experience and a lot of people around me, there's been a huge gross imbalance with perform and achieve and do, and allowing ourselves permission to rest and recharge and play. Yeah, so that was the next point that I wanted to talk about, was that yes, it's great to accomplish things and achieve and perform as a child, but when there's a gross imbalance with playing and resting, and you know, it's so important to recondition that, oh wow, yeah, I went and did this cross country run today, it's great, but come home and relax and integrate and rest your body and your mind, and yeah, so I'm just trying to point out that all of these things happen so early on. And then in my personal experience, all of the rushing and the pressure to compete against classmates and perform and achieve flowed onto my secondary and tertiary education. So I've been kind of in that toxic container for a while. Went to high school, went to a quite prestigious high school, which is great, again, because it does it is a good container to help you accomplish things if you want. But I didn't have the proper understanding of how to detach my sense of worthiness with what I was achieving. So yeah, and then I went to university and got 2 science degrees. So in very competitive markets, I've got a degree in exercise science. So the health science world is incredibly competitive. I did the exercise science degree in kind of this little physio like context, so like a little side category. So like when it came up, it was like, oh, okay, so she's doing exercise science to move into the Masters of Physio. So can't remember the wording, but basically it was very competitive. And then I moved into marine biology, and then of course that is extra competitive too, because it's not like the conservation world has heaps of money, so there's not many jobs. A lot of people volunteer, which is great because we get hands-on experience, but then when you're trying to move into an entry-level job, no one wants to pay you because they're like, we'll just get someone to volunteer. So I have been in that toxic container of achieve, perform, compete for like so long. And I'm just trying to really emphasize how deep the conditioning was and how toxic the environment was, because to be where I am at now and really understand how absolutely worthy I am of rest and how constructive it is just so huge. And yeah, so all of these different environments had that same energy that was pushing me into chronic fight or flight. And you might be sitting here listening to this like, holy shit, I totally get you. Because these fight or flight environments are so common and basically a majority of our interactions with society right now. And subsequently, I burnt out many, many times. And it's such a painful experience because not only are you physically fried, like I think fried is such a good way to explain it. Your body is just like heavy and you're tired, and that's how we get illnesses, guys, is because we're not allowing our bodies to click into rest and digest, which is the other side of the other option of our nervous system. And rest and digest is where we heal and where we integrate, lessons and conversations and get clarity and make decisions and get creativity and ideas to come to us. So that's how we get sick, is because we're in fight and flight all the time. So when you burn out, not only are you physically fried, so you, like you said, I might be chronically ill. Throughout uni, I used to have like day-ending headaches. Like, it wasn't migraines, they were like sinus headaches, and I literally had to get into bed and be in the dark for like ever. And I was just like, oh, this is just part of life. And since I've left those toxic containers, I've never ever had a headache. And I'm like, and you can just see, like, it's crazy when you look back, the effects that stress has on your body, and we just cop it on the chin, like, oh. And yeah, anyway, I'll save that point. I was going to start another point, but I will save it for later in the episode. So yeah, not only are you physically fried when you burn out, you're emotionally depleted and confused. You're really confused because from the moment we are born, we are conditioned to believe that our worthiness is measured by our level of productivity. So when you inevitably try and then fail to reach your unattainable goal of how productive you are, and you have this toxic underlying belief that I am only worthy when I achieve X, Y, and Z, which is probably, like I said, a completely unrealistic and unsustainable achievement that you're trying to achieve, you are undeniably emotionally depleted and confused and stressed out because you've got this horrible underlying belief that you are only worthy when you achieve X, Y, and Z, and it's just not the case. So yeah, basically burning out is really confusing and painful. And if you have burnout before, I empathize with you. I've done it a few times in my life, but I have so much gratitude for those experiences too, because I've learnt so much from each experience. And yeah, if it's happened to you, I hope that you learnt the same lessons and made the changes that you need to not click back into that horrible way to be, basically. So yeah, as I mentioned, we are not machines, and that's why we burn out. We are human beings we have ebbs and flows of energy, and we just can't deny that. Like, I'm not, like I said, I'm looking at the beach right now to record this episode, and I'm not at the beach screaming at the waves to stop rising and falling. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not there asking the tide to stop draining out to a low tide or filling in for a full tide. I'm not there like, oh my God, waves, stop like coming into the shore and then like getting sucked back out. That is kind of a weird analogy that I just came up with just then. But that's kind of an analogy for what our toxic relationship with our energy ebbing and flowing. Like, I just don't understand why, or I do, but why as soon as we feel tired or like we need a rest, we've been so conditioned to think that's a challenge to keep pushing ourselves. But yeah, I'm not here yelling at the waves to stop draining back out. That's the same as when our energy is ebbing. It's calling for an ebb. So an ebb means stillness, because we can't just flow all the time. If the tide was rising in all the time, the whole of the world would flood. You know what I mean? Like, you got to let the tide come in and ride those waves in. And that's like the, analogy of your energy flowing and rising. And then you just have to let it drain back out and then ebb. So yeah, I hope that analogy landed because that just randomly came out just then, but hopefully hopefully it kind of resonated with you. But yeah, basically I'm so sick of seeing people when someone's like, oh, I'm so tired, and then they just see it as a challenge to keep pushing themselves for 5 more days or 5 more minutes or however long, and they just keep pushing themselves until they burn out. And now, after years and years of consistent deconditioning and pouring back into my cup and giving myself permission and working on my self-image and my worthiness and my ability to love myself, now when I feel tired, I receive that information and I accept it for what it is, and I allow rest and I allow play and I allow stillness, because I have learnt now and I've observed time and time again that when I rest, I have more energy. And so you might be listening to this like, whoa, what the fuck? Like, what a foreign concept. But it's so simple. Once you allow yourself to rest, you come back 10 million times more productive than you ever were. So please be mindful of that, guys. If you feel tired and you feel your energy ebbing, please don't take that as an invitation or a challenge. Oh, let's see how much further I can push myself. Like, don't look at your to-do list, throw your to-do list in the bin, no, off to the side until you want to do it later, and rest. Like, I call it getting horizontal. I'm like, oh yeah, like to my partner or a friend, I'm like, oh, I just need to get horizontal. And I can literally get horizontal, which means laying down, obviously, for like 10 minutes. And then I can just approach the rest of my day so much more efficiently. But I've seen it in my mum growing up, and she was very time poor, very stressed out, single mum. And she was just doing the best that she could. I'm not here judging my mother. She was just doing the best that she could. But she would run around and be like, oh, I will rest or I will play when I get all of my to-do list done. But the catch is that we will always add to our to-do list, because if we're working on that underlying belief that we are only worthy by what we do and what we achieve, you will never ever allow that to-do list to end. So it is a massive, massive exercise in self-control almost to identify that energetic ebb. And then the second part is actually allow the rest and to stop and to walk away from that to-do list. So yeah, I hope that by sharing some of my early experiences and childhood experiences with that hustle culture, it's helped you identify like, oh shit, maybe I've had a bit of that exposure as well has had an effect on you. Because I feel like there's just a lot of us adults walking around that literally have no idea how to take care of ourselves, this fear of slowing down and allowing rest. And yeah, so if you have acknowledged like, oh shit, I think that exposure happened to me when I was a child, or my job probably doesn't create the safest environment for me to rest. I'm not trying to bring this to your attention to start beating yourself up, because it's always, I always need you to come from a place of compassion, because then you can lead yourself out of that, rather than, the compassion and the acceptance piece is the solid foundation that you need to make those changes. So I'm not sitting here saying all of those, all of these experiences that I've had with burning out and being in toxic environments. I'm not sitting here saying like, oh my God, how much do I suck that I stayed in that uni degree and blah, blah, blah. Like, I've completely have so much gratitude and understanding for all of those things that happened to get me to who I am today. So yeah, if you've listened to this information and feel like it resonates with you in like you've had similar experiences, just make sure you're being compassionate to yourself. And basically I just wanted to start this episode by offering you guys an incentive to start redeveloping your relationship with rest. So I hope that point has landed. And now I would like to share some beliefs that may come up as you begin your process of slowing down or integrating rest into your life a bit more. I just wanted to talk about maybe some beliefs or some thoughts that will come into your mind, because your mind thrives on the known. And that is how a lot of us get stuck in our lives. We never move forward because even if you do have the best intentions to move forward, you might start taking those steps, but then your mind feels the change and the unknown, and it's just going to throw everything at you that it can to get you to stay in the safe zone. So this will probably happen as well as you begin allowing yourself to slow down. So some of the thoughts that I had to observe. So there's a difference between identifying and absorbing the thoughts rather than observing them. So throughout my process of allowing myself to slow down, thoughts that came into my mind were, oh, you are so lazy. Of course this is going to come into our mind, because if you've had anywhere near an experience that I've had in the first, 30 or so or 20 or so years of my life, my worth was directly linked to how much I could do every day and how much I would achieve and how happy I would make my boss and all of that kind of stuff. So obviously you can see a bit of a theme here of my toxic productivity coming through in my work and career realm, but it might come through in other areas of your life. So I can only speak for my experience, and my harsh lessons have definitely come through in my career area and my sense of purpose and all of that. So yeah, maybe just take some time to reflect on where your burnout or your toxic productivity beliefs might be coming through in different areas of your life, because I can only speak for my experience. So that thought, you are lazy, comes through. And like I just said, of course it was going to come through, because I was never ever taught that by simply being who I am, like just being in this moment, sitting completely still or lying down or whatever your definition of rest is enough, and that I'm worthy and that I am magnificent and I'm making a change and everything simply by being. So of course the thought, you are lazy, comes into my mind, which is now something that I can just completely roll my eyes at and laugh at, because I've just learnt time and time and again how slowing down is beneficial. Basically, just a simple sentence, it's beneficial. Another belief or a thought that might come into your mind is you are getting left behind, because, like, as I mentioned, from our childhood, from such an early age, we are rushed to school and we're rushed to this Saturday soccer game, and it's always go, go, go. So of course, as soon as you slow down, you're conditioned to think, oh fuck, everyone else is going at this pace and I'm slowing down. So of course that equals I'm not going to be able to keep up and I'm getting left behind. And that is a really triggering, horrible thought to have, because we are literally designed to move in packs and have social connections and stuff like that. So if you've got a friend that's running around a mile a minute and you're trying to slow down, of course that's going to trigger you. But I'm here to tell you that it is not the case, and I have tried and tested this so many times now that as soon as I allow rest, I come back in full beast mode and I can just get 10 hours of work done in 1 hour if I am well rested. So you need to start being aware of that belief, identify it, but not with it. So observe, but don't absorb that belief, because I promise you are not being left behind. And it's like the rest is the catalyst for these big leaps, and being on the go all the time is not sustainable. So be aware of that belief if it comes up, and I promise you from the absolute bottom of my heart, you are not being left behind. You're actually going to get ahead more. Actually, that is a beautiful analogy I can use. I'm looking at the ocean and all these like water analogies are coming to me as I'm recording this podcast. If you have that belief that comes into your mind that you are being left behind as you start allowing yourself to slow down, think of this analogy. If you're swimming in the water and you've got your head down and you're blowing your bubbles, sorry, I just laughed because I used to be a swim teacher, so I'm just like fully just clicked into that mode of like, blow your bubbles. You're swimming along, you've got your head in the water, you're doing freestyle, so you're kicking, and you've got your arms back and forth. If you are trying to swim long distances, which is, say, our life is long, you need to come up for a breath. don't you? You need to come up for a breath. You need to turn your head to the side, inhale some oxygen, and then you can put your head back in the water and you can swim faster. So obviously the analogy is if you're a swimmer and you're doing a 50-meter race, in those professional races, they don't really take a breath. I think they don't take any breaths, or it's like 1 or 2 breaths. So obviously small bursts of work don't need that rest. They don't require that rest from you because it's just a 50-meter race. Get in, get out, just fully pump your mind, body, and your soul and get to the finish line. But life is not a 50-meter race. Life is like swimming all of the oceans. You know what I mean? So when you hear that belief that's triggering you, like I'm being left behind as I rest, think about yourself swimming from here to New Zealand. You will not be able to do that swim without taking a breath. And that taking that breath is that analogy for rest. And you always come back more energized after you take that rest. So again, I hope these analogies land. Can actually, if anyone listens to these, like whoever listens to these podcasts, which I know is like a fair few of you now, which is really exciting, by the way. Can you let me know if these analogies like resonate with you? Because I'm always trying to synthesize these abstract ideas into a user-friendly, lighthearted context. And I seem to just come up with these analogies. But if you are just sitting there fully just laughing at me like, what the actual fuck are you saying, Zoe? Please let me know. And I'll try and, analyze and synthesize this information, these lessons in a different way. But hopefully that swimming analogy makes sense. So as you are trying to rest and slow down and rest, just remember you need to come up for a breath. And that's what that analogy is. I suppose it's a similar belief, just worded in a different way, but you might also think, I'm running out of time. And that is just not the case. Like life is not in a rush. So society is in a rush for sure. Like I've just spent the whole episode talking about that. So society is in a rush, but your life and your universe and your life purpose and your relationships and everything good that is everything that is good that is coming for you, whether it's in your current reality now or to come, none of that is in a rush. Like that higher universal intelligence is not in a rush, but as a human race and as a society, we are in a rush. So you need to be mindful of that belief coming up when you start allowing more rest, is that you're running out of time, because you're not. You're absolutely not, which is a really freeing belief to integrate. So I hope by you hearing that come out of my mouth right now, that it is soothing a part of you, because there is definitely always a part of us that is completely impatient, and it comes from a scarcity space. So scarcity is that there's not enough. There's not enough for me. There's not enough for like, but if this person starts this business, then my business won't take off. Or, if this person takes 3 apples, then there's not enough for me. And it's just the way that planet Earth and the universe works. It's abundance. It's an abundant frequency. So once you're clicking into your abundance frequency, you will understand that rest does not equal you running out of time. It's actually helping you get more out of your time because you're not running around with 50 million thoughts in your head and in fight or flight mode. Like, guys, when you do start to allow rest and you see the benefits of it, and then you click back into what you're trying to accomplish and productive flows, they're actually enjoyable and they're sustainable, because you're like, oh my God, I feel so fresh and I feel so alive and I feel so energized. All right, I'm going to use that energy that I'm channeling right now with my body feeling excited and relaxed and energized into my purpose or my relationships or whatever area of your life you need to be productive in. So that's the thing. When you're in this toxic productivity mentality, the productivity is not even fun. It's shit. It's so shit, guys. But then when you actually start allowing rest and then you click back into your productive flows, it's so fun and it's energizing and it's sustainable. So yeah, I just wanted to reiterate that. Okay, so I've mentioned a few thoughts that will probably 1,000,000,000% come up once you start allowing rest and giving yourself permission to rest. And I hope by helping you identify these, that it will soften their influence on you. And it's so important, guys, to observe these, but don't absorb them, because that is what has kept you in this fight or flight pattern and this stressed out, tired pattern for literally probably every single day of your life. So now I'm on the other side of that, and I'm living my life from a place of trust and abundance and rest and rest and play and balance. Oh, you see people, I just see everyone running around like head down, stressed out, and it's just not the way. So I hope by me being able to identify those thoughts and beliefs that might come up for you, that it'll soften that process for you and you can allow more rest more quickly. So that is my gift for you. Okay, so now I wanted to mention some beliefs we need to start integrating about rests, and because it'll help you allow rest, basically, because I think I mentioned it earlier in this episode that our belief system, so our subconscious mind is where our belief systems live, and they actually dictate 98% of our life and our results, because what we believe leads to how we feel, and how we feel leads to how we act, and how we act leads to our habits, and our habits lead to our results. So I'm always going to be talking about our beliefs, because it is literally the foundation of how you get shit done in life. So, and it's either how you are getting the results you don't want, and it's also the key to getting the results that you do want. So that's for another time and place. That's actually the teachings that I do in my group programs and my one-on-ones. So yeah, that's why I'm talking about beliefs now with rest, because that's basically what I had to do, was reset my belief system around what rest is, and then learn to tap into my body's intelligence and identify when I need the rest. So yeah, I digress, but let's go. So beliefs that we need to start integrating about rest that will help you in your rest relationship is understanding it expands your capacity to be productive. So I've kind of already touched on that a few times in this episode, but yeah, like I said, once I've learned in my experience, and I've seen from people I admire that have developed their own beautiful relationship with resting and playing and allowing more of that, is that you just come back so much more productive, and it's incredible. So remember that it expands your capacity to be productive. It does not take you away from your ability to accomplish things. It actually makes the process of accomplishing things so much more juicy. So yeah, rest is not something that we need to earn. What the fuck? Like, sorry for the language. That is just, that's something that makes me so angry. And I, again, have already kind of touched on that belief when I was like, I'm so sick of seeing people clearly needing a rest and taking it as a challenge to push themselves further, thinking that they need to earn the rest. Like, if you are tired, just listen to your body's intelligence. It's not about, some people try to dissect, why do I feel so tired? I haven't even done that much. Dude, like, you don't even know how much you're absorbing every day. There's so many unknown nuances that are influencing your body's energetic ebb and flow, and things you just will never be able to identify. So if you feel tired, stop trying to dissect why you feel tired. Just fucking chill. Like, sorry, just relax. And obviously, if you're getting like this chronic exhaustion, it might be something you need to look into. And obviously there's so many, like I said, there are so many nuances that affect your energy level. So it might come back to, what are you eating? Like, everything you're eating is a message to your body. It's either a love message or a kind of rejection message. Like, if you're not eating well, that's your body's being made up of all of that. Anyway, I'm digressing onto another topic. I'm trying to focus on rest, but I'm basically just trying to let the point land that rest is not something we need to earn. If you feel tired, stop dissecting why you're tired and just fucking chill. So I'll leave that point there. Rest gives you longevity. So that kind of comes back to that swimmer analogy, that yes, you can swim a 50-meter race without taking a breath, but life is not a 50-meter race. It's like a cross-country around the world swim, and rest gives you longevity. Taking those breaths and pauses in your day, daily, gives you longevity and gives you sustainability in your productivity realm. So yeah, already kind of covered that too. Another belief about rest you need to integrate is you don't need long rest. You don't always need a long rest. So people might say to me like, oh, but I don't have time to rest. And it's like, you absolutely do have time to rest. You are just not prioritizing it because of your belief system and your value system. So I just want to remind you, start experimenting with short bursts of rest. Like I mentioned before, I call it getting horizontal, and it's taken me a lot of practice and a lot of discipline just to allow little 10-minute rests in my day. So I might finish cooking brekkie or something like that, and then I want to go straight into the next thing, but I'll just go and lay down for like 10 minutes and then get back up, and I've got so much more energy already. So deconstruct that belief that rest needs to be long. And mind you, once you start this process of allowing rest, you might need longer rest because you've got like 20 or 30 or however old you are years worth of conditioning around rest, and you haven't allowed enough rest. So you might be tired at the start, but I promise you, as you start integrating rest into your everyday experience, you will a lot of the time need less rest. So debunk that belief that you need long rest, because short bursts are better than nothing. And another belief around rest, which I've kind of already covered, so I'll just say it quickly, is that our nervous system needs stillness and quiet. So that's comes back to the overstimulating environment. You need quiet. Like if you walk around a shopping center all day, or you work in a busy workplace, or you've got a busy household, your nervous system values quiet. So stillness and quiet. Our nervous system also needs play. So what is your version of play? Like, we're always so ingrained to have achieved something and have a result. Play is simply just a present moment of whatever it is. So play for me is like surfing or skating or mucking around on the beach with my friends and family and my dog, and, spear tackling my partner in the ocean in the waves, and groveling around and body surfing, and having a boogie in my room to some like groovy tunes and stuff like that. So playing is just upgrading your energy without a result. So our nervous systems need that, and our nervous systems also need creativity. So start being aware of how you feel creative. Like, just a quick example, I had so much resistance for so long about creating reels. I was like, ew, they're so lame, they're so inauthentic. And then I actually, moved through that resistance and started creating my own reels. And I don't care if no one likes them or even watches them, but it is such a creative, enjoyable process for me, because I'm there like, trying to do one of those, what do you call them? Like kind of collage ones, maybe that's the right word, where it's like one video and the next and the next and the next. And it's just so nice trying to fit it all in, and then finding a tune that kind of reflects the energy of it. And yeah, I never in a million years would have thought that reels would be a creative outlet for me. And yeah, like I said, I'm not, even if the reel is quotation marks a flop with the algorithm, I've gotten so much out of that because I've created something. So yeah, just be mindful of where creativity is showing up in your life, or where your mind, body and soul are kind of indicating creativity. Because like I said, I never ever thought I'd be using reels as a creative outlet, but as soon as I started it, I was like, oh, this is so fun. So yeah, creativity is really anything that's fun. So yeah, that is that last belief that I wanted to help you guys be mindful of integrating, is that our nervous systems need stillness, quiet, play, and creativity. So yeah, all right. This episode is probably going to be a long one. So feel free to pause if you like. But I feel like just sitting there and enjoying it all. There's just one more topic that I wanted to go through. So yeah, if you listen to the episode the whole way through, then it's like, yeah, cool. Just let it all integrate. But it's long because, like I said, it's such a personal journey for me, and it's something I'm so passionate about, because yeah, it's breathed life back into me, allowing rest, daily rest. It's so good. So onwards, let's go onwards and upwards. Did you know that rest is actually different to sleep? Whoa, I know. Drop the mic. What the fuck? Now, for me, that was a big like, whoa, what? So an indication of if you need more rest in your life is if you are getting a good night's sleep, but you still feel exhausted. It's your indication that you need more rest. And following on is that we cannot rely just on sleep to restore ourselves, which seems funny. But like for me, it was like, what do you mean? Like, but I got 8 hours sleep. But if you're not allowing rest on top of sleep, you will not be getting those restorative benefits. So that for me was a bit of a game changer. So hopefully that's activated some kind of aha moment for you guys too. And the reason, now I'm going to follow on and explain the reason why rest is different to sleep and we cannot only rely on rest is because there are different types of rest. So I'm going to go through them really quickly because I'm sure you guys just need some time to integrate all of this information. I just hope this is as powerful for you guys as it was for me, because it's just honestly revolutionized how I show up and interact with life, and it's in the most beneficial, exciting, enjoyable way. Like, I'm actually more successful and productive than I've ever been now that I've allowed rest. So I'm a walking example of this, coming from a burnt out, stressed out, confused Zoz to a happy, calm, relaxed, one chick, me, Zoz. Let's move on. Physical rest is the first type of rest. So passive physical rest is sleeping and napping. So, naps are great, guys. And naps don't have to be completely zoning out and then you wake up, you're like, oh my God, what time is it? Sometimes a rest for me is just, as I mentioned, getting horizontal and I can still hear the birds chirping and I can, hear my housemate walking around, hear the cars driving around, but I'm closing my eyes and I'm not absorbing or interacting with anything, anyone, any thoughts or anything. So passive physical rest is sleeping and napping. There is actually active physical rest too, which is meditation. You can achieve it via yoga and massage. So it's that physical rest, and anything related to physically allowing your body to rest is physical rest. So it's kind of the explanations in the name. So I won't try and dissect that anymore. The second type of rest is social rest. So, social rest is the process of being mindful of relationships that energize you and others that exhaust you. And that's fine. Not everyone is not for everyone, okay, guys? So be mindful of any people-pleasing tendencies and our need to show up for everyone, because it's just not sustainable, okay? So really take some time to start observing relationships that energize you and spend more time with those people. Spend more time with those who rejuvenate you, because it will rejuvenate you. Like, I don't even know how to, just do it, The next type of rest is spiritual rest. Spiritual rest is when we are spending some time connecting to something greater than ourselves. Anything that gives you a deep sense of belonging, love, and acceptance. And how nice is that? Just to even hear that is so nice. So please start being mindful of taking spiritual rest throughout your day, your week, your month, etc. And I'm going to leave that up to you, what that it is, because I'm not here to tell you exactly how to achieve rest. I'm trying to give you this information to activate your process of uniquely resting your mind, body, and soul. So in the spiritual rest realm, what gives you a deep sense of belonging, love, and acceptance? And do more of that. So spiritual rest for me is definitely like being in nature and solitude. So, but I'll leave that there and let you guys dissect that and your own unique expression and practice of that spiritual rest. Okay, creative rest is the next one. Spending time admiring nature and art. I didn't even realize it was kind of following on. This is especially important for people who have jobs requiring a lot of problem solving and brainstorming. So if you have the ability to do so, set up your workspace near a window so you can look out and admire nature, or add some inspiring artwork to whether it's your desk or your office or wherever you work. So yeah, I actually really like moving around my workspace depending on what I'm creating, what I need to work on, etc. I have a beautiful office at home, but I don't strictly work there. And like I said, I'm literally pulled up in the car today. If it wasn't raining, I definitely would have set up under a tree or at the beach on my blanket and been more integrated in nature. But it's raining, so I feel like sitting in the car looking at the ocean is the closest I can get today. But yeah, I absolutely love changing up my workspace, which I think is a bit of creative, definitely integrating a bit of creative rest. There is 3 more types of rest, so there's 7 altogether. Sensory rest is the next one. Taking breaks, and this is how we achieve it, is by taking breaks from our devices, taking breaks from artificial light, and taking breaks from overly stimulating environments. And for me, the biggest one, like the biggest time I'm in those overstimulating environments is shopping centers. Like even going into Coles, like if I am not grounded and if I am not well rested, holy shit, it is just so taxing for me. I have so much respect for people that can work in retail, because you're doing huge long shifts in artificial light with sounds and colors and flashes, and then aircon as well. That's like not fresh air. It's like air that dries you out, and it's been circulated through that vent a million times. And I've just got so much respect for you guys if you're working in retail. So yeah, make sure if you are working in retail, make sure you're allowing as much sensory rest as possible. And another example that's coming to mind as well of people that need sensory rest are people that work on their laptops a lot, because you are looking at an artificial screen for so long. So a lot of people will think, I've had a really big day at work, I'm going to chill out and zone out and watch some TV. And that's probably the worst thing you can do in that sensory rest category, is because you just need to have a break from that artificial light and the stimulation from flashing ads and different colors and stuff like that. So yeah, maybe try and allow some time in the afternoon to sit out on your deck and take some deep breaths and admire nature, or read a book, or whatever just isn't involving anything that's going to stimulate you, which is obviously a lot of technology. So yeah, that is how to integrate some sensory rest into our lives. And the second last type of rest is mental rest. So I think this is one that a lot of people need. Our minds can just get so chaotic so quickly. So mental rest throughout our day is really important. So some ways you could do that is set reminders on your phone to allow short breaks and opportunities to slow down throughout your day. So set some reminders on your phone or alarms, and maybe to go off at like 3 times a day or however many times you feel you need it. And that is your reminder. You don't have to do the phone reminders all the time, but after a while, once you've consistently set these reminders, you will be able to just naturally integrate these mental breaks throughout your day. So yeah, set an alarm. It might say something like breathe, and it's your reminder to take 3 deep belly breaths and be mindful of your thoughts and not identify with any thoughts. Or it could be reminders to do like a little 5-minute meditation. And yeah, you telling yourself that you don't have time in your day to do that kind of stuff is a choice, by the way. Like, you will never, ever create the change and the upgrades in your life that you are desiring without changing your daily habits. So if you're sitting here like, but I don't have time for little short mental rest breaks, well, all right, I'll chat to you when you completely burn out, So yeah, your decision to say that you don't have enough time to do these little things is a decision. So yeah, maybe just setting little reminders on your phone throughout the day to just stand still, take a few deep breaths, whatever you feel will give you that little mental break from solving that problem at work or doing that uni assignment or, your grocery shop or whatever it is. And the last I gave it away. The last type of rest is emotional rest. Which is your need to prioritize some alone time to be in your own energy. And oh my gosh, guys, like, 1, rest has been so transformative for me in my journey, but 2, solitude. So solitude, like, I'm obviously still doing productive things in solitude, but oh damn, baby girl, baby boy, that like, solitude is just ridiculous. It is so, so energizing. And I just find people so scared to spend some time by themselves, but it's just such a potent, energizing, rejuvenating, therapeutic space to be in. So yeah, for your emotional rest purposes, please take some time to be in your own energy, because we all have auras. I can't remember if in any episodes I've spoken about auras, but you are constantly absorbing the energy and the emotions of the environment around you and the people around you. So the only way to empty out all of those emotions is to have some time by yourself. You could be in the best mood ever, but if you walk into the lunchroom and Susan's having the worst day ever, you can bet your bottom dollar that you are going to absorb some of that. And that's what kind of emotional and physical intelligence is learning how to decompress from those and not identify with other people's energy. And anyway, I'm getting off topic, but that's one of the many parts of self-mastery and the things that I teach in my group program is how to set energetic boundaries, how to stay in our power, how to shift the beliefs around psychic attacks from other people and emotional attacks. Because, you know, Susan might be your friend, but if she's having a bad day, you can bet your bottom dollar that you're going to absorb some of that negative energy. So emotional rest equals the need for solitude. Do it. And it's especially important for the people pleasers, as I've just mentioned. Like, Susan might be your best mate and she's having a bad day. And if you love her, you're going to immediately click into that people pleasing mode and try and save her. And you can't save yourself if you're pouring from you can't save anyone else if you're pouring from an empty cup. So yes, please be mindful to prioritize some solitude to gain emotional rest, and emotional rest will just make you a better human, a happier, a more fulfilled human that can actually help more people. So it's not selfish. It is not selfish to integrate any of these types of rest into your day. It is a selfless act. And that kind of is a great segue into my final message for this episode, that rest is an act of self-love and a sign of empowerment. Okay? So let that land. It is saying to the universe that you trust that everything will get done, that you know you are worthy. And as I mentioned, that rest is not selfish, it's selfless, because as you rest, you're one, activating other people's need for rest and desire to probably redefine their relationship with rest, and two, you can pour out of a full cup once you've rested. So yeah. And the final message is, success does not have to be achieved through sacrifice. And man, I can still feel that in my body, how nice that feels to accept that belief, that new belief and that realization, because I was ingrained from such an early age, like all of us, to believe that if I wanted to achieve something, I would have to sacrifice. And that's not what holistic success is. It's about sustainably finding success through avenues that are joyful and ones of ease, and how when you're in alignment and when you're well rested, etc. So those last two messages, just let them sink in. Rest is an act of self-love and a sign of empowerment, and success does not have to be achieved through sacrifice. All right, my beautiful loves, thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this podcast episode. Thank you for giving me your consent to receive this information. I hope that it has helped you gain some clarity around your current relationship with rest, and how empowering and necessary it is to define and have a healthy relationship with rest. So best of luck with your journey. Reach out to me via Instagram, email, or on my website, which all the information will be in my show notes. If you've felt activated or triggered by this episode and you need some extra support, I'm always here. Let me know how your process of beginning to slow down is. I would love to hear from you. I'm always here for support. So best of luck, my loves, and all my love.